Hey everybody, Steven here, and today, big news for the next Subnautica game. No confirmation on the name here outside of them just still calling this the next Subnautica game, because I know a lot of people are saying, hey, is this Subnautica 2 and Below Zero was really just an expansion of the first game, or is this going to officially be Subnautica 3? We don't have clarification there, but with this post from Danya, who is the community manager with Subnautica over at Unknown Worlds, we're getting some clarification on something that Crafton, who is now the publisher for Unknown Worlds and their games, they posted some stuff, and so they wanted to clarify some of that information. Now, I'm not going to showcase that information because they outline that here, but with this, let's just go through everything. So early access is intended for release in 2025, not in 2024. So just clarifying that. I did a video, but now we have like official word here. Hey, expect it next year, right? And they don't even actually say that, but that's going to be my expectation, is sometime hopefully early 2025. Now they're going to give us more news, which is awesome. And we do have a picture here that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But my guess is they're going to kind of sprinkle just tidbits about the game slowly throughout the year. And then maybe towards like late fall, maybe early winter of this year, we get an official date on early access. So maybe every month, every other month, we get some little tidbits about gameplay, new pictures, just things like that. So the next thing, in reference to the game as a service, we simply plan to continually update the game, which they've done with Subnautica and Below Zero for many years to come. Again, they say just like the previous two Subnautica games, think just like their early access model. So, but there it's expanded. Remember the updates we got, like for instance, Subnautica 2.0 basically, where they brought over stuff from Below Zero to that game. So we're not going to get a season pass, a battle pass, no subscriptions, anything like that. They're just saying that, hey, we will continue to support the game like we have the previous ones. And this next point here is a big one. So the game is not multiplayer focused, but there will be co-op here. So officially they have that. Entirely optional. You don't need to actually do co-op, but you will be able to play this with other people. Now, just kind of reaching out to some of the devs and getting a feel for this, what I'm hearing is 2 to 4 players on co-op, which is going to be awesome. So I don't know if they're going to stick to that 2 to 4 players, but in general, with co-op, you can at least expect that you can play this with another person, but no multiplayer here where it's like, hey, you can play with 8, 16, 24 people. It's not going to have that, right? Still focused on the single player experience, but now it can be shared, which is awesome. And then they end this with just saying that they are proud and grateful to have such a passionate and engaging community that love these games. So with this here, big news just in this, again, addressing some stuff that Crafton had posted. But now I want to shift over to this image and let's start to speculate here. But I'm going to actually showcase something from Liam, which is one of the devs on the game. So here he says, I took this screenshot. So this is huge. So we have our first in-game screenshot. This is what Subnautica is going to look like running off of Unreal Engine 5. Now, he says, expect many more graphical improvements by the time of release. So just, I mean, to me, this looks incredible. And this is very, very early on in development. So I've done a video on this, like the stuff they're going to be able to achieve now, switching over to Unreal Engine 5. Just one graphically, but I think speed-wise, I'm expecting a much larger game because of the resources that they're going to have inside of the Unreal Engine 5. But with this, it says, we're trying to keep the unique art style of Subnautica 1 and Below Zero, but utilize the Unreal Engine 5 for much higher fidelity. I think you'll be impressed by the final product. And I do pick up on, and this is where I see when people say, hey, Below Zero isn't basically Subnautica 2, it's not the second game, is because when you look at, even when they do the naming, when they do the shorthand, Subnautica 1 right? They don't say Subnautica 2, they put below 0. So I get where we see that. So hopefully we do get word here in the coming months and they clarify which numbering system here is this Subnautica 3 or Subnautica 2. But this is now high res full image of this in-game screenshot. So just looking at, I mean, one, I personally think it looks great. And this, again, is so early on, but the flora and the fauna here, when we're looking at this, it looks very Subnautica. And to me, it looks very Subnautica 1, not below 0, because obviously that was a different location on the planet, but we're also looking at there being like ice and things, and this one looks more tropical. With this, I mean, I think everybody's eye is going to immediately draw to the creature, but also this new vehicle. So getting a closer look, it's different than the other vehicles, still has that classic look to it. It almost looks like a hybrid of like the sea moth meets the sea truck meets the prawn suit. It's just a unique take on this. I actually went back through some of the old conceptual art for vehicles. I was like, it kind of reminds me of some of the stuff I saw that just either they didn't choose it, right, or potentially got cut from the game. But looking at it, some stuff I've noticed, we obviously have the battery packs on the side. At the top, you can see, I'm assuming, potentially battery packs, potentially modules that may be towards the front on the side as well. Not seeing where you enter, unless that is directly on the top towards the back end. The propulsion system here seems unique also. It almost seems like whatever is at the back end turns. I don't know, maybe that's also how it can maneuver, right? Just because this is a more odd shape. It's like you took, kind of like you took the sea moth and like usually has that bigger U around it. It's like you got rid of that part. I'm also noticing on the glass, it is very like thick. So it almost looks like there's a vehicle or another thing inside of it. Either the glass is extremely thick on this thing, or it's like there's another secondary vehicle inside of this vehicle. But it's also not massive. If we're looking at the size here, this either the structures and everything got way bigger and the creatures got way bigger, or this is smaller and it's just, again, maybe thicker glass. Maybe it's like something that you would get ejected from the back end and then you would be on your sea glide and it's just a way to kind of dock into that. And then like you can go faster or deeper based off of that. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff that could potentially be going on here, but we just get to speculate now. So I do want to hear from everybody on this. What do you think about the new vehicle and some of the things that it looks like or it could function for, right? Shifting over to the creature here, this definitely has like the rabbit ray vibes to it with the coloring, but it also looks like it's mixed more with like the squid shark in terms of like the body. Not the squid shark had a different front end, but more just the body style, because it looks to me more like a shark. So creature looks really, really cool. Again, looks more like the first game. Something I haven't talked about yet, and I don't know how many people have seen this, but the game doesn't take place on 4546B. This is a completely new location. Now, there is no confirmation as to what planet that is, so we don't know, is this on Alan's home world? All we know, it is not on the same planet the first two games took place on. So we are in a completely new location, which is also why when we're looking at an image like this and it looks like the first game, now we get to speculate even more. Because my thought goes to, I mean, if it's a different planet and it looks the same or very similar, why is that? My first, and this is going to be more extreme of a thought, is let's say we do go to Alan's home world. Maybe they have a section there, or maybe their whole planet potentially, or at least a large portion of it, does look a lot like 4546B. And that's why they were attracted in going there. I don't know. There's so many potential things that just come to mind there. But I want to hear everybody's thoughts on that as well. Like this not being on the original planet, where do we think we've gone? And also looking at this screenshot, what do we think about the implications of it being on a different planet? But it looks so much like 4546b. But back to the creature here. I like this look. Other cool thing here, Alex Reese, the concept artist for Below Zero, is back doing this game. So a lot of cool stuff we're going to see in terms of creatures. I hope we get some really cool, obviously, Leviathans, but just what we've seen in the last couple games. Just extremely unique looking creatures. Alex does amazing. I've done an interview with him. He's a great guy. We also have Ben back to do the music. Super excited about that. So a lot of devs from the first and second game are back doing this one. And just looking at these other creatures really quick, we have, it's like a pinkish orange, and we have two different versions of that fish, because you have that version and then you have one that is purple. We have one by the main like shark looking creature that one has like the front that fans out. So we have that creature, and then looking over on the right hand side, we have this blue fish that looks like its body was split into fours. And then if we look towards the top right hand corner, you see another group, and that looks like a school of fish. I don't know if that's going to be where they have some of them. They're not even 3D. They're almost just flat that kind of just float around to fill the space. Kind of looks like that, but a little bit harder to tell from this image once I zoom all the way in. So we have quite a bit also just with the creatures here. I'm excited to see what else is going to be in the game, but again, we get to speculate as to what we're going to see in terms of larger creatures like the Leviathans. But also, if we're looking at the first game with the Reefback Leviathan, just how massive that creature is, I'm hoping we see some larger scale creatures that are like that. And the number one thing I always think about is like the first game, the Reaper Leviathan. Like, it's still to me the scariest creature that they have between the two games. And I still love the Shadow Leviathan and the other ones that are in Below Zero, but like nothing tops the Reaper. So I'm hoping we see something that rivals it with this game. Now I'm going to end this here because otherwise I'm going to sit here and keep speculating and talking about the game, but I'm just excited that we get our first bit of more detailed information, but also a screenshot here just to kind of keep us afloat in the meantime until we get more screenshots, hopefully a little bit of gameplay sometime this year, and more information on the game. But I want to hear from everybody. What do you think about the screenshot? What do you think about co-op? What do you think about the stuff we covered with this image and the stuff that you may be hopeful that we actually see in this next game? Let me know in the comment section because I love hearing everybody's feedbacks and their thoughts on this. So that is going to wrap this video up. If you guys like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, yes, I'm doing a lot of tech reviews and all that, and I've really just been doing that on the in-between waiting for this game. I will be covering this game in great detail, just like I did with Below Zero once it launches. So I will be having multiple videos every week covering the development of the game once we see early access. So if you want to follow along for that, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.